Welcome to Edison TV. I'm Marvarine Cole, and today I'm joined by Daniel Elger, the Chief Financial Officer of e-Therapeutics plc. Daniel, thanks very much for joining me now. You guys were one of the pioneers in network pharmacology, so can you just tell me why it's such a hot area in drug development right now?
Yeah, so network pharmacology is a new and very distinctive way of discovering new medicines. It's quite different from the conventional approach, which centres around identifying one protein that's gone wrong in a disease, one bad actor, and targeting that protein very specifically. Instead, what we do is we profile the entire network of proteins involved in a disease, and we find ways of targeting that network. Our CEO has a nice way of describing this. Instead of playing one note very hard, we're trying to play a chord, and this is very much in accord with our growing understanding that many diseases are extremely complex, and you need to recognise that complexity when you devise a therapeutic strategy.
Early indications suggest that trials are going well for your product ETS-2101. Can you elaborate on that?
That's right. So this was one of the first drugs to come out of our network pharmacology approach. We're currently conducting 2 separate phase 1 trials, and with our prelims announcement, we gave some very early outcomes from those studies. In particular, we indicated that so far none of the patients have experienced serious adverse effects relating to the drug. We documented one case of fatigue where a patient had their dose lowered and carried on a lower dose, and one case of a patient who experienced what's called a partial response. That's some level of reduction in the size of their tumour. So these are very early and preliminary findings, but I think what they illustrate is that we're well on course to announce the key findings on dosing and safety from those studies around the end of this year.
The recent successful fundraising for your drug discovery programme means that it's now been expanded. So can you explain what you've done?
So the next steps from here, we mapped out quite clearly when we raised money from the markets earlier this year. In particular, we said that of the cash we'd raised, we expected to spend around £25 million on a programme of development for the cancer drug ETS-2101, and that includes finishing the current phase 1 trials that I mentioned, and providing those are successful, proceeding rapidly into a programme of mid-stage studies, which would include proof of concept trial in brain cancer, glioma, and also a more exploratory mid-stage trial looking at a number of other cancers.
The recent successful fundraising means your drug discovery programme's now been expanded. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you've done?
That's right. So we raised £40 million back in March, and together with the funds we already had and the monies we expect to get from R&D tax credits and interests over the next few years, that funds everything we plan to do in the business through until 2017. I mentioned we expect to deploy about 25 million on the cancer drug programme. Much of the rest, apart from some modest overheads, is going to be spent on new drug discovery work using our platform and in taking some of the best things that come out of that platform through into early stage development, with the aim that by the time we get key data on the cancer drug, we'll also have a range of other products.
When do you expect the next drug to come out of the programme?
So we expect the next drug to come out of the discovery platform by the end of this calendar year. We indicated at the time we last raised money back in 2011 that we'd be able to have a stream of new candidates coming out of the discovery effort, and this is the first of those, and with the new funds that we've raised, that will obviously help us to keep up a stream of new candidates coming out of the platform.
So it sounds like really exciting times ahead, lots of opportunities, a really healthy balance sheet, not the usual situation for a biotech company. So does anything keep you awake at night?
Well, obviously it's very nice to have raised a large amount of money, and we're very grateful to the investors who've backed our business so strongly. But of course, that's only enabling in the sense that now the challenge is to ensure that we turn that cash into value. And so we have a relentless focus on execution, both in terms of the clinical program, where we're delivering a program of trials to advance drugs towards potential licensing deals, and on the discovery side, where we clearly want to make the most of the opportunities to invent new drugs using this very exciting platform technology.
Daniel, thank you very much indeed for giving us really valuable insight into e-Therapeutics PLC.
Thank you.